What's up, guys? We are back and we're going to be talking about the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max today, but we're doing a little something different than a normal review because Apple's, of course, touting the camera system as the big thing this year. So instead of just walking around taking, street photography stuff and just kind of showing to you on YouTube, we thought we'd do something different. I'm with Barry Seah, who's a commercial photographer, and he's also known as Motographer here in Singapore. Takes some badass photos of motorcycles, some great composites. So we thought we'd come into his studio today and we are going to test out the iPhone 13 Pro Max. We're going to be shooting his awesome Hayabusa and then we're going to actually print it out.
Yep.
A2 format.
Yes.
And we're going to see how good the resolution is on these new cameras. And you're going to be doing some composite stuff as well?
Yes, I'll be doing some composite and some special effects after the shoot is done.
Okay, so we're going to see that work. And by the way, we're not paid or sponsored for this. We have no idea if this is going to work or not.
Yeah.
This could fall flat. It could be great. I mean, when's the last time you used an iPhone?
The last iPhone I used was iPhone 11 Pro Max, that's all. And I find the camera just alright only. So I haven't yet tried the 12 and 13 yet.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, with 12 obviously came RAW format, so you can shoot RAW with your images. And of course now with the 13, you've got these baked in profiles that you can also use. We'll talk more about that later on. By the way, this entire review is shot on the iPhone 13 Pro. And we'll be showing you some of the cinematic modes, all that kind of fun stuff, but also just showing you the quality of the video throughout this entire thing. Audio, of course, we're using audio going into a Zoom recorder because we didn't have the right cables to plug into the iPhone, unfortunately, today, but it's great audio nonetheless.
Yes.
All right, Barry, so let's light this place up. We've got Spotty here, who's your light model.
Yes. Yeah.
So Spotty actually sits on the motorcycle and he stays there.
Yeah,
so we'll try some of the new features with the new camera.
All right.
With Spotty's really good-looking face. Are you ready? Are you ready, Spotty? Okay, we're ready as well. Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, so now we're gonna do a little bit of a macro shot here. I'm gonna do this with my photo styles in rich contrast first. Hey, Spotty. Hey, buddy. Yeah. Now the camera automatically does click in. You don't have control over the macro, but there you go, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, now I'm going to shoot in RAW. Yeah. I like shooting in RAW more, but then I'm used to that with all the cameras that I test. You do use the styles when you do shoot in RAW, though. It's only for JPEG.
How does it look?
Very sharp. Very, very sharp. That's really sharp. Now you can't, I think it's about 2 cm or thereabouts, so you can get it as close to your subject. So you will have to crop in, but the resolution is so good that you can crop in and it still maintains it. It looks really, really nice. So, all right. Thanks, Spotty. Thank you.
Are you okay?
All right, so I'm gonna try shooting this in JPEG first. Now I'll try doing a telephoto shot here. And then we'll do a wide. Go back to the main. Now I'm using the, if you can see the profile on this, I'm using the rich contrast. And you can actually adjust this if you want, so you can bring it down or up, however you want it to be. And as it goes to a certain point, it will actually automatically change. So bring the contrast down a little bit up to 41. Now we're going to go into RAW mode. So RAW is probably what we're going to use for printing, just to kind of show the quality of this. So a little bit wide here, but we can crop that. And then we'll go telephoto on that. And we'll go ultra wide. Spotty's inside the shot. Come on, Spotty, come over here. Come on. Come on. Okay, we go down like that. I think this is where a lot of people get confused from, is that when they look at their monitor, their phone screen, and that they see something pixelated there, they think, oh, or they see noise or whatever it may be. They think, okay, the camera's not good or something's not right. But actually, when you print the image out, is really where you see how good a camera system is, and even a lens for that matter, how sharp it is in the detail. Because our screens can only resolve so much, especially these consumer grade screens, right? I mean, if you want to get a high caliber screen that's thousands and thousands of dollars, it's a different ball game. But for what we're looking at, you're only going to see so much. So now I'm going to take photos with the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the picture styles with the 12 Pro Max or the 12 Pro. That's only available for the A15 Bionic. So I'll try with JPEG here. Thanks, Spotty. It tastes really good today. I'm going to use the main camera here, JPEG, and then I'm going to shoot some RAW. RAW file size is around 27 to 28 megabytes thereabouts, so you're definitely get a lot more information. I'm gonna do some telephoto here, and then shoot the rear of the motorcycle, and then we're gonna go wide on this as well. All right, this is shooting in RAW. Let's take a look at the detail on the wide. I would say, you know, first impressions, the 13 Pro is slightly better on the wide than the 12, but it's ever so slight. Again, we have to look this on look it up on a computer screen to see the difference, and we'll send it over to Barry so he can take a look. But let's take a look at the telephoto. I would say telephoto is very, very similar. This is quite sharp on the 12 Pro Max. It's quite sharp. So I think you maybe will see more of a difference with the wide angle than anything else. But I mean, the image quality looks really good off the 12 Pro Max and the 12 Pro. So I mean, here's the thing. Unless you need some of these additional benefits, if you're just gonna take some photos, you're like, look, do I upgrade to the 13? I'm only taking photos once in a while, et cetera, et cetera. You know, you might not need to upgrade. It just depends. It really depends on you, your budget, and do you want the latest and greatest from Apple? Because these images are still really nice. But when you put it onto a printer like what Barry has, you're gonna see a world of difference in the image quality. So I can't wait to see what it looks like. I'm gonna pass these images to Barry. He's gonna do his little magic, crop it out a little bit, you know, fine tune the image, and then we will get it printed. And I'll have Spotty who keeps licking me because I taste really good today, I guess. I should try myself. Maybe I should. I can see why he likes me. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna go in and capture one right now. We're gonna take a look at JPEGs first. Yeah. You'll see the quality of JPEGs between the 12 Pro Max and the 13 Pro Max.
13 is on the left and the 12 is on the right.
Okay.
Yep.
So one big difference you're going to notice is, of course, the new styles. I actually added the rich contrast to my image. So you're going to notice that the 13 is a little bit more contrasty, a little bit more punchier than the 12, because unfortunately without the A15 Bionic chip, you can't get those photographic styles in it. But let's take a look at the quality of it.
So I find that the 12 have a bit more detail. Actually, a bit, but it's lesser contrast. I guess the contrast it killed quite a lot here, especially at the radiator area.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the radiator.
Yeah, you still see some, but not as much. So
yeah, it's not as much. That's all.
Okay.
In JPEG, yeah.
So what do we boost up the shadows a bit?
Yeah, let's check out at the wheel area. I boost it up to 100 for both.
Okay. So actually the wheels on the 13...
Yeah, it's actually...
It's not bad.
In JPEG, but the iPhone 12 seems to have more detail at the bricks area.
Yeah.
Well, here is a little smudgy, but I also suspect it might be the contrast.
Yeah, it could be the contrast involved with it.
It might be the contrast.
But you know what I noticed is when you push up the shadows on this with 100% on the 12, it starts breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot more... Yeah.
Artifacts.
Yeah.
A little like AG.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is a bit more rounded, more smoother.
Yeah, so the 13 is a little bit more controlled on that.
Yeah.
Interesting with the 13, when you boost up the shadows 100% with this rich contrast style to it, it holds relatively well.
Yeah.
It's not breaking apart.
Correct.
Definitely the 12, because it's more standard, it's more neutral. You're going to see a lot more of that the shadows, the detail in the shadows. Whereas with the rich contrast, it's more of a stylistic approach. Of course, you can adjust this inside the camera to be less contrasty or more. But it's just to kind of show the difference between the two with styles. And I mean, it still maintains some decent detail, of course, but again, we're looking at this at, we're really punching in.
Yes, if let's say for the JPEG, we just add the contrast a bit more. Then a bit on to try to match this. It's actually quite similar, but instead of doing any adjustments, it comes straight like that.
Right. Let's do raw for wide angle.
Let's try that raw out. For wide angle. Here it is, the wide angle.
Okay. So, wow, first difference is, looks like the 13 is slightly wider.
Yes, actually way wider. You can see the left side of the counter on the backdrop. Yeah, it's way wider. But
one thing I'm looking at this, right? The 13, it's got a little bit more distortion on the edges, whereas the 12, it's a little bit more straighter with the lights, looking at the lights.
With the lights, but it has distortion at the center part.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of like, it's distorted out,
Yeah, it's okay, maybe I just increase the brightness a bit so it's much more clearer. Yeah, you can see that the wheels are being pulled out over here for the 12, but then for the 13, it is actually more, it is actually, more. It does not have much distortion, but the distortion is at the edge of the lens. At the edge. What I can see, the most obvious difference is the distortion. The distortion is like here for the iPhone 13 is center fine, then after that distort. While for the iPhone 12 is distort. All the way. It's like fish eye kind of thing.
All right, so Apple's improved the 13 for the wide angle bit.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Fish is very good for portraits.
Yes.
How else you will look like?
Exactly.
Pointed head.
And you don't want to shoot an image of somebody and they're looking bigger in the middle and distorted.
And you don't want to be at the edge. You want so you want to have a different size. Okay, I'll be at the edge. No, I'll look bigger. See the telephoto. All right, the telephoto raw. So basically, okay, the difference is the telephoto lens. This is like the real telephoto on the iPhone 13, while the iPhone 12 is still a bit wide. Let me see, 7.5 for the
F2 at F2,
9 for the 13.
So 9mm. Okay.
I think that's the difference.
It is. And then I would say, looking at just at the overall image quality, I mean, the 12 might seem a little bit brighter, but the tonality I like in the 13 a little bit more. I mean, it's a little darker, but it seems to have like, let's push it up a bit to see what the detail.
Let's bring it up a bit. Oh, I think I just bring up the brightness, bring on the shadow a little. Oh no, like this. Yep.
Let's try that.
Yeah, somewhere there.
It still maintains, still holds.
Yeah. But and also the distortion as well again.
It's much better on the 13. The 13 is
better on the 13.
You get more of that compression that you normally get on a telephoto lens. You're getting that in the 13, whereas the 12 is just more like
So can see by the tires. This is, and the tires, it is a little pull on the right. It's a little pull, but it's very very slight. So the round is slightly oval, while this one is really round. It's actually very obvious on that part. Let's see about the details on the shadow for both.
It looks more detailed on the 13.
Yes.
Sharper.
Let me this one. Let me just bring this. I think because the brightness is already up a bit up.
But even on the brake on the disc, the brake disc.
Yes, there's more detail.
You can see that.
There's more detail on the 13. And also at the edge, the sharpness here is a little smudgy on the iPhone 12. The iPhone 13 is much more. Okay,
cool. Now let's look at the standard. The main camera.
The main camera.
Raw. They're really kind of neck and neck. When you look at the detail, it's really close. I mean, I would say the tonality is slightly, I think the highlights are more controlled. It seems to be on the 13. Like even if you look at the brake disc right there, like you see that it's a little bit brighter on the 12 versus the 13.
Yes, it looks more contrasty on the iPhone 12.
Whereas the 13 is a little bit more, it's controlled a little bit better on that.
The 13 has more details compared to the 12. Other than that, okay, let's see on the highlights control. I bring down the highlights.
Yeah.
You can see this.
Yes.
Let's bring down the highlights from. Okay, actually.
Not bad.
Quite, yeah, not bad.
Not bad actually.
Both of them, yeah.
Quite good.
Let's see the shadow. I just put this back up. And the shadow. And for here, okay, I just put both at 100. Yep.
I would say they're really close.
Yeah, quite close.
They're quite close. I would say, yeah, because the 13 Pro Max image is slightly, darker, or I would say less, not as bright.
Yes, correct.
Not as bright as the
Yeah.
12. That, when you boost the shadows up to 100%, you're still maintaining a lot of detail inside of it. It's not
Yes.
breaking apart.
Yes, correct. Yeah, all the details on the edges
Yeah.
over here. Yeah, even though of course because this is a standard, so it will be a bit smudgy when you zoom in.
Sure.
But you can see that this is more defined. The edge of the tire.
Yeah.
Over here is a bit more defined than this. This is a bit smudgy.
Yeah.
Let me see whether I can just close up a bit. This I think is more obvious. You can
Yeah,
see
you
that
can see it.
This one you can see a line.
Yes.
Defined line. This is blurred.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So it's all these small little details in the standard lens.
Okay.
Let's see the exhaust area. Okay, here is actually quite obvious. It is actually more sharper on the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, this part lah. And I noticed that actually because you're in the same distance.
Yeah.
This one seems to be a little wider, but I think that's only about it.
I mean, but then again, we're not put on tripod, so I'm using it myself, so there could be a little bit of allowance for.
Yeah, that might be.
Yeah.
Okay, we bring up the shadows again.
Sure. It looks better on the 13. Though the
Yes.
12 is looking a little bit washed out,
Yeah.
where the 13 is still holding up a little bit better on that.
It is still more defined in here in the black area
Yeah.
than here.
Yeah.
Here is the iPhone 12 is like a bit smudgy. So iPhone 13 actually has improved a lot in the
It has.
image quality. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, for people out there, just to be realistic, we're really pixel peeping at this point in time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got a 12 Pro or 12 Pro Max, it still takes fantastic images. We're just really comparing it at pixel
Yes,
peeping,
pixel
zooming in like 100 or
Yeah,
200%
yeah.
on an image. So, but some of you out there love to do this, and we do this for camera reviews as well. Let's take a look at a macro shot here.
All right.
I'm spotty.
Yeah, spotty. Okay, so for the macro shot, let me.
Since there's no macro on the 12, we can only do it on the 13 here.
Yeah, okay, so we see it, okay, and let's go in. I just bring it brighter a bit, bring down the highlights. Wow. When I bring down the highlights, it's wow. You can
look at the
see,
detail, yeah.
You can see the detail on the bottom of
Oh,
his
wow.
snout. See, this is 100%.
Wow.
And then you can see it did not smudge the fur.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part. Even the tiniest fur near his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can see one line. Yeah, over here as well.
I have to say, I think out of all the new things that Apple's put into the camera system, I think the macro will be the one that people will use the most and will be more impressed with out of everything. Yes, the new camera sensors are bigger, and they've improved, the wide angle and the telephoto, but the macro capabilities are actually really fun. And sometimes when you need to shoot video or need to shoot photography, you need something macro, and you don't have that macro lens, this can come and help out in a pinch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So so what we'll do is you take the standard photo from the bike, we'll use that as the main camera sensor, then take a macro shot of spotty.
Yes.
We'll do a couple test prints and see what the results are.
All right.
All right, so now we printed up some images from the iPhone 13 Pro Max here in A4 and A2 size. And Barry, what are your thoughts, man? Go for it.
Yeah, I feel that the resolution is really awesome, and also the details, especially at where his fur is. You can see a bit more detail, a bit on his snout, than it being a flat piece of like a flat piece of white or flat piece of pink. So I find that the detail, the quality of it is, for an A2 print, is astounding coming out from a phone camera.
Yeah, it's not too bad actually when we look at this. I mean, obviously there is a little bit of smudging here.
Yeah,
obviously because we've blown up and we're not, with the macro mode. This is from the macro mode of the camera system, so it won't probably be as sharp or as, on the screen it looks great. But when you blow it up to A2 size, you're going to see a difference in that. But let's go to the motorcycle for a second, because this was shot with the main camera in RAW. So what's your thoughts on this shot right here?
I find it is still alright, and the details I still see the very deep details, and even a little stone chip there. It can be seen, and the shadows handle quite well, because usually for cameras, right, phone cameras, usually it will be smudgy in a lot of places, even in these areas.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're seeing those tones of different blues in
Yes,
there.
correct.
That
There
great
is. Yes.
graduation there. The lightning bolts. So because your bike has a lot of intricate paintwork to it.
Yes.
It's a lot. I mean, you guys will see it in the video, of course, probably better than we'll see here, but it's really a lot of detail and it's beautiful. You can also see the striations right here and
the brake pad area, the brake disc area, yeah. And this is like raw, so there's nothing done to it. So it is just resized and just printed out. Just up the size only. That's all. Yeah.
Now here's the reality of it. Now, while these are good cameras, right? This is not going to compare to, let's say, a DSLR mirrorless camera system, 20, 30, 40 megapixels, obviously, because that's a much larger sensor, guys. So we're looking at a very small sensor in a camera. Even though it's large in the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it is still significantly smaller than a full frame or APS-C. So while we're saying this prints well, we're saying for a phone, it looks good, right?
Yes, correct.
So now you said you're going to do a composite for us?
Yes, I'm going to do a composite based on the story of my custom airbrush artwork on my Hayabusa.
Okay.
So let's get to it.
So you've been recording so far with the iPhone 13 Pro. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, it's hard to differentiate the differences between the iPhone 13 Pros and the iPhone 12 Pros, but and I'm just talking about based on video alone. But cinematic mode is actually surprisingly fun to use. Now, if you're gonna do quote-unquote professional video, then you might want to use other camera apps. So throughout this video, I've actually been using both the default camera app and Filmic Pro, and I just find Filmic Pro just has all the tools you need for making videos.
Except cinematic mode, right?
Except cinematic mode. But here's the catch. You can control the autofocus in Filmic Pro. So you can actually play with the pull focus and still get pretty much the same results. It's more of a manual way of doing things, but you get more finesse out of that as well. On top of that, Filmic Pro does shoot on log and flat. You can actually change to 8-bit, 10-bit, Dolby HDR if you wanted to. Filmic Pro, man.
So Barry's behind doing some composites. We're keeping it a surprise Bobby, and he's knocked out cold. But Spotty is doing something else. Oh no, Spotty, behave.
All right, it's done.
All right.
It's done. All right.
Thanks.
So,
it's okay, buddy. I gotta go film now. We go film.
Okay,
buddy.
all right.
All right.
So now to reveal the composite and the story of my Hayabusa. Okay?
Okay.
So okay, here it is.
Holy sh! Wow! This is from the iPhone?
Yes, this is for the iPhone 13 printed on A2 composite with the story of the Hayabusa.
Holy cow.
So at the front of my bike, there's actually a yin yang logo.
Yeah.
Which is where the bike is sitting on.
Wow.
Yeah, it's sitting on. And there's a dragon. So the dragon comes in. And the thunder god that is on the bike, that's where the lightning comes in. And because this is a Japanese concept, it's actually, that's why I put a Japanese shrine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow, man.
Can you find for the Geek Culture logo?
Is there a Geek Culture logo
Yes,
here?
yes, it's very subtle.
Oh, there it is up there in the moon. Look at that.
Yeah,
That's
actually,
cool, man.
Yeah, this is for you guys.
Wow, thank you very much. Dude, that is legit. Check that out. That is legit. A composite.
Yes, a composite.
With the iPhone 13 Pro Max image out of that. Okay, so now I got to ask you this in terms of the technicalities, right? How is it like to use an image like this for a composite? Because usually you need a lot of information and a lot of detail, right?
Yes, correct. So I find that it is decent, and the shadows and the highlights are handled very well. So I can be able to manipulate without losing the details that much. Yeah.
Right.
So even though I made it a bit darker, it stays. It doesn't smudge.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most of the time when it comes to composite and you have low quality photos, the dark areas tend to smudge. It will turn to shadow. It means it's black or gray. It does not have a gradient gray. Yeah,
right,
so
right,
that is the problem.
Okay, and this held up pretty well then.
Yes, this one held up really pretty well. Okay. But it has to be lighted well as well. You know,
lighting is key to anything,
lighting,
honestly.
yes, correct.
I mean, I think there's a lot of people, when they see even when Apple, they do these great ads for the iPhone, 13s or 12s or whatever it is, they have really good lighting for these guys. And really good lighting allows low ISO, more detail, more sharpness. But I mean, this looks impressive. This is beautiful, Barry. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for this.
No problem.
Okay, so final thoughts. What are your thoughts on it? You think this camera is legit or not?
Yes, this camera is legit. From my point of view, I feel that it is actually very, very close to a point and shoot. We don't say mirrorless, but point and shoot.
Right.
Yeah, the quality of the point and shoot. So instead of carrying one phone and one point and shoot, you can just use the iPhone 13.
Basically, it makes sense. I mean, the point and shoot is pretty much, I mean, we can say it's quote unquote, it's moved on to the afterlife.
Correct.
Right?
Correct,
Where
yes.
the smartphone has taken over that.
Yeah.
And the images are fantastic, man. Thank you so much, because I know this printing takes a lot of time and it's a big expense on your part. So thank you very much for, I mean, even this, man, that's a lot of work, bro.
No problem.
Thank you so much, man. And with that, guys, does the iPhone 13 Pro Max, can it work for printing? The answer is
yes.
Yes, it can. Anyway, those are our thoughts on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Any questions you have, ask away. Barry, thank you so much once again. Follow him on motographer.com. Also put a link to your IG as well.
Yes.
And just big thanks for taking all the time to do all this, man, because printing is not cheap. It's expensive, especially on a printer like that. So Barry, really appreciate it very, very much.
No problem.
With that, guys, take care, stay safe, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and we will chat to you in the next one. Take care.